Those of you who know me know that I like movies, old and new, a wide variety of movies, everything from bizarre science fiction to old silent films long before talkies. But there are a few genres that just really don't do it for me. One of them, please forgive me, is Westerns. There are exceptions though. Arguably my favorite movie of all time is Dances with Wolves. It's an irony, isn't it? But there's another old Western that comes up on my radar. It's nearly 30 years old now. It's something of a cult classic. Tombstone. Yeah. Kurt Russell, Sam Elliott, Val Kilmer, Dana Delaney, Charlton Heston even shows up. Robert Mitchum winds up narrating, and more. What's not to like, right? All-star cast. But it's Val Kilmer's character, Doc Holliday, in conversation with Kurt Russell's character, Wyatt Earp, that really captures my attention. Because one of the main reasons I like movies is because I like to look for theology in them. What are they saying about God? And for that matter, what do they say about the human condition? Sometimes we find theology explicitly in movies. Far more frequently, we find it implicit. It's in between the lines, or it's just left there for us to catch on our own. That's the way it is in Tombstone. In a particular scene I'm thinking about where Kurt Russell and Val Kilmer, that is Wyatt Earp and Doc Holliday, are in conversation with each other about a character that Doc Holliday has just killed, Johnny Ringo. He's evil to the core. He's evil personified, Johnny Ringo is. And Holliday has been asked by Earp, why is this guy so angry? Why is he so mean? What's the driver in this guy? Why was he the way he was? And Holliday is able to answer with some authority because, quite frankly, he's more like Ringo than he is Earp. He understands where Ringo's coming from. It's no small wonder that he didn't turn out just like him. And Ringo simply says, revenge. Single word answer, revenge. Wyatt Earp is mystified by this response. And he asks for him to elaborate on that. What do you mean revenge? Revenge what for? And again, the answer, very short, but rich in meaning. For being born. You see, Doc Holliday says the reason Johnny Ringo is so evil is because he is mad at God. Mad that God even made him. I don't know about you, but I suspect there is a great number of people who are angry with God. They may not even know that's what's going on in their life, but that's where they're really at. There's a powerful passage in Luke's Gospel, Luke chapter 6, the Sermon on the Plain, and I've been preaching through that in a series of late and continue to do so. But I find myself drawn more and more and more, again and again and again, to a phrase near the end of Luke chapter 6 and verse 35. It's at the end of that section where Jesus tells us to love our enemies. And the prime mover or motivation to do so, Jesus says, is you need to consider who God is, what he's really like, what he's about. He loves his enemies. He is the Most High, and yet he stoops ever so low, most low, to be kind, to be compassionate and merciful. In Greek, actually, the word is the word that we have translated for grace. He gives grace to who? Jesus says to the ungrateful and to the evil or the wicked. Think about that for a moment. Jesus is saying, you need to know who your enemies are. We haven't defined that, have we? I'm defining it for you here at the end of the conversation about loving your enemies. Your enemies are the ones who are truly the enemies of God. And who are the enemies of God? Those who are ungrateful and wicked, evil personified, the ultimate in selfishness, narcissism embodied, and those who simply aren't thankful for the gift of life or anything they receive that's good from God. They simply go on as if life is a given and that they are the master of their own life. It's the exact opposite of reality. They're dependent on God for life, They should be thankful, grateful for this, and as a result, they've devolved to the point that they are in darkness, engulfed in wickedness and evil. They are selfish. There's not much that points outward in them, much less upward to the one Most High. How does that describe you? How does it describe me? How does it describe others? I don't know, God can sort all of that out. It's not our place to judge. Incidentally, that's exactly where Jesus will go. As he finishes this conversation about loving your enemies, it immediately segues into our not judging others. We leave that up to God. That's his business. But God willing, we'll preach more on that to come. The point that I'd like to focus on here as I raise those questions is how grateful am I? How grateful are you to God for all of his goodness, his kindness, his grace? All of it amazing. And what do we do with evil? That is, do we truly pursue holiness? Or is the measure, well, I'm not doing really bad things, or I'm not as bad as others that I can compare myself to? These are two huge factors. They're two steps, you might say even sequential. The truly grateful and thankful person is someone who's truly humble before the Lord. They know they're not the originator or sustainer of their life. These things depend on God. That breath I just took and exhaled, that was a gift. That was grace. I didn't do it. God gave it to me. It's true for you as well as for all of us. If I want to become close with the Most High, if I want to be viewed by him as more of a friend than an enemy, then I will seek to humble myself before him. He is the Most High. I am not. No one else is. And to give him what is rightly due is to give him great graciousness for his grace, to become thankful with a capital T. When I place myself at his feet lightly, that is, I'm truly humble before him, then I can become gratitude. I can become walking, talking thankfulness, and thereby avoid what is evil and wicked, truly selfish. That is, I pursue holiness. I want to be like him who alone is good, who is Most High, the Holy One. I let the Holy Spirit of God guide and rule and protect and help and comfort my spirit. Where's the sermon going? Really those two things. Let's do all that we can as those who claim to be seekers after God and followers of Jesus Christ, Christians, part of the people of God, his church. Let's do all we can to grow in gratitude every day. It's not just for Thanksgiving or Christmas season or something. It's not just for times when something big lands on our plate and it's very obvious. We have only one right response, and that's to be very humbly thankful. It's for all day, every day. Well, let's do all we can to straighten up our act, to flee from all that is evil and darkness, and to pursue, to run after, to strive for all that is good and holy and true and right and noble and pure and lovely and excellent and admirable, to think on these things and to put these things into action in our lives. We'll do that best when we consider again and again, that is, we deliberately contemplate and meditate on just how kind our God is. That will become our default setting as we think about God. We think of him not as a harsh taskmaster or someone that's eager to judge us. He wants to smite us. Rather, we see him as one who is ready to give us his great grace and amazingly runs to do so. May we pursue him who pursues us, and may we do it passionately. Grace and peace be with us all.